Hi, I'm MarzGurl.
I'm JoshKnightTheFirst.
And welcome to episode 90 of MokkoriPlay, the only podcast dedicated solely to all things City Hunter.
On today's podcast, we're going to cover Season 2, Episode 39 of City Hunter, titled, Umi, What a Sexy Guy! Beautiful Sweeper Miki Gets Close, Part 1.
Elephant in the room. We missed a week.
Yeah, both of us kind of seem to have gotten a little bit of heat sickness, because I don't know if you guys have seen the weather lately. It's been hitting the hundreds over here in Los Angeles.
Gosh, it's hot!
Yeah, I thought we escaped that, moving away from Texas, and turns out no, it just follows you across the country. Thanks, global warming.
Have we decided we're going to try and double up on this?
It is a two-parter, and it's a very important two-parter.
It's a two-parter, and this next Monday is a cool holiday day. Maybe that can be a celebration.
Of a sort, maybe. We'll see. We'll get back to Mokkori Monday regularly scheduled programming as best we can, but the good part we found out is that because we didn't record over the weekend like we normally do, we didn't miss out on some very, very big City Hunter news.
We would have been kicking ourselves. We would have been like, oh my god, we gotta pop back in here and record another addendum before we put this out. We would have been really upset.
But no, this time luck was on our side, because if you guys have been keeping up with us, you know that every so often when we say, oh, there was nothing to cover this week, City Hunter news happens to be like, haha, I'll show you, and then something major drops.
Right, so coming out of, I guess, the official City Hunter Twitter account that posts about this upcoming movie, Angel Dust, they decided, let's just drop some news about cameos in this movie.
Because at this point, we are just a couple of days out, a little over a week before the movie opens in Japan. And so now's the time to get people hyped to go see this movie. And they figure, okay, what better way to do that than, like you said, some cameos. Now, it's worth bringing up that in this most recent Cat's Eye vs. Lupin movie, that Ryo is a cameo just there in the background.
He's just standing there. He's just like a singular drawing. He's not even really technically animated.
But he's there.
He's just standing in the background. But I mean, we knew just because Cat's Eye was going to be together in a movie with Lupin the Third, that meant that they are a shared universe. And so City Hunter is together with Cat's Eye is together with Lupin the Third. But now, thanks to the City Hunter movie Twitter account, fuck you, Elon. We know that Lupin and Jigen Daisuke are going to be in some capacity in City Hunter Angel Dust.
They're there. We've seen the screenshots.
Him and his Fiat.
His little yellow Fiat. And that's the thing, we had been talking about, okay, are we going to see a crossover at some point? We didn't think we'd get an answer within the year.
I thought they were going to, save it so that we would figure it out in the movie, because they didn't announce for the City Hunter movie, hey, guess what? You'll be able to see Ryo from City Hunter in the background of this shot.
Yeah, that's just an Easter egg, right?
Yeah.
And it was there in Shinjuku Private Eyes that, Cat's Eye does have a cameo there, a little extended cameo, helping out Cowdy and Ryo as they're taking on the big boss of that movie.
Right.
And we knew Cat's Eye was going to be in this movie again.
Everyone is here!
But
But even more characters than you think, because suddenly they drop some other news because it's TMS, right? TMS has the rights to Lupin. TMS also has the rights to, I can't believe I'm saying this, to fucking Tama and Friends. The little cartoon that I think it was Fox that it aired
Fox
on for a
did, yeah.
while. The cartoon with the little calico cat and all his cat and dog friends, for some reason, is in this movie.
They found a really good reason, though. So it's established that part of the beginning plot of this movie for Angel Dust is that Ryo and Cowdy have gone back to just finding lost pets. And it looks like it's Cowdy. We're assuming it's Cowdy holding a picture of what appears to be either an animal they're looking for or a recent animal they found. And it's Tama, the namesake cat from Tama and Friends.
Mind you, the plot of this movie, at least, I don't know if this is the A plot or the B plot, it is part of the plot, okay? Is that new female character, right, that shows up specifically for this movie. She's like some kind of a YouTuber or something, and she's bringing her cat around and she's filming her cat while they go on trips together, and the cat gets lost, and she goes to look for City Hunter to help her find her cat. And I'm like, now it's possible that they're just showing off a picture of, oh, we found cats before. Take, for example, Tama from Tama and Friends. Or is her cat Tama!
No, because then that would mean it's not Tama's owners, and like Tama has a very specific like little kid that looks after them, right?
I mean, he did in that Uchi no Tama series, okay? Where he's also an anthropomorphized cat, and there's a bunch of anthropomorphized dogs and cats, and like when people look at them, they're not anthropomorphized, they're still just dogs and cats, and they can't talk. But then when you look at them, because you're the viewer, they're hot people. So... It's a weird series, but I was the subtitle editor on that show, and these are two things that are going together with City Hunter that I've worked on before. Lupin? I've done a Lupin thing before. I was a subtitle editor on a Lupin thing.
Which one was that?
It was Prisoner of the Past, specifically that TV movie, that particular TV movie. And Uchi no Tama, Have You Seen My Tama? And I need somebody to give me an excuse to put my hands in some way, shape, or form on the City Hunter movie. I need this. I need this so badly.
See, if this was video, I could cut to that gif I saved of you from when we did the Yakuza 8 reveal of you saying, I need it so bad. Or no, it wasn't Yakuza 8, it was Lost Judgment.
It was Lost Judgment, yeah.
So yeah, that's where we're at right now. We've got 2 other cameos in this movie. Who the hell else is gonna show up? Will Detective Conan be showing up?
I don't think Detective Conan's gonna show up, but it's one that I've wanted for a very long time.
I do appreciate that as soon as the announcement was made, a lot of people started posting how happy they were online on Twitter about the things that they were expecting or felt the need to do in response to Lupin showing up in this movie.
Easily my favorite response to this news was this person on Twitter saying, "This is the greatest day of my life. I'm going to draw so much art of Lupin plowing Rio."
It's amazing. It's so amazing. But yeah, that's what this brings out in people. Like, Kalen.
What?
Kalen.
What?
They're gonna have a horny off. Lupin and Ryo both have done the jumpy out of the pants thingy.
They have, and as much as I want to see that, I feel like Lupin will actually be like, grow up, man. Sometimes you just gotta grow out of that stuff. Like, something like... Because Lupin has been kind of decreasing in horniness over the years.
But come on, you put Lupin around Ryo, he's gonna relapse. He's gonna relapse. The only question is, who are they gonna both jump at? It's probably going to be Sayako.
Or the new character.
The
new lady character. I don't know.
It's gonna happen.
Josh,
I would put money on it.
We gotta have Lupin driving the Fiat next to Ryo driving the Mini Cooper, and like their steering wheels are on opposite sides of their cars, so they can stick their heads out the window and just talk to each other while they're driving.
They could do that, like in RRR, of having the guy on the horse and then the guy on the bike riding next to each other, like they're best buddies.
I mean, maybe. Or they're like really mad at each other for a second. Like, they don't know. Like, are they both gonna be chasing down a cat? I don't know. Do they both want the reward?
We don't know.
I really don't know.
See, I know it's gotta be only like one scene. It can't be more than that.
Right, because this isn't Lupin's movie.
But the fact that he's there, that's gonna distract so much. This is like deciding to stick the Joker in The Batman. You know, it's distracting
and they did do that.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. It's distracting having that character there because then you're expecting them to do a lot more.
No, I agree. Now,
that's not to say that I'm not happy they're there, specifically for Lupin. I wasn't happy they included the Joker. But, like, in this particular case, I am happy with that, and yeah, I'm gonna want to see a full movie of that.
Yeah, because the most important plot here is we're about to start talking about Ryo's adoptive dad, who raised him to be this, like, guerrilla child warrior, okay?
Yeah, child soldier.
This is a very important part of Ryo's life. Also, Lupin and a cat are there. It's too difficult to understand where they're going with this now. It's a little all over the place.
Like, spoilers, I'm sorry guys, like Ryo's gonna be here like, so you really want to know the truth about Shin Kaibara? Well, it turns out he's actually my... Boom, here comes Lupin through the door. Hey, Jigen, look who's here! Me doing my best Tony Oliver impersonation. And then they're gonna have to dub this, and it's gonna have to be Tony Oliver again.
It's never not Tony Oliver these days.
Like that's his role.
Even when they go through different dub studios, they still go get Tony Oliver.
Yeah, like even as recently as Discotek's release for Cutie Honey, the character in there that looks like, it's not Lupin, but it looks like Lupin, they got Tony Oliver for that.
Sure. And also that Cat's Eye movie, that was Amazon, right?
Yeah, it was Amazon that got distribution.
So I don't know who the dub house was for that, but like Bang Zoom does a lot of these Lupin dubs. That wasn't Bang Zoom. I don't recall who that dub went through, but they got Tony Oliver and that whole cast back for that
Tony Oliver, Richard Epcar,
for that particular movie as well. So they're always going to go back to them. Yeah. So at this point, I genuinely have no idea what dub house is going to get this, because we're going through TMS, it's Aniplex, it's Sunrise, plus all the anime that European distributor, right, that sometimes does a little bit of North American distribution, are the ones who said that they're getting distribution, right?
For the North American theatrical run, yeah.
Right. And last movie, Shinjuku Private Eyes, that dub was done by Sound Cadence. I have no idea who is going to dub this movie.
There's too many hands in the pot here, so who's to tell?
I do not know.
But you better believe somebody's going to call Tony Oliver. If not, somebody's going to have a problem, and it's going to be me. Because there's just some people, it's like, look, he's there, he's available, give it to him.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Not Tony Oliver when Tony Oliver is there?
Yeah, I mean, come on.
That would be stupid.
Yeah, so that's our big update for City Hunter news outside of us covering the regular episodes. So we now bring you back to the actual episode at hand, which is really important to Umibozu's character because, as we said last week, we're going to be introducing this new character, Miki, and she's got a big part to play.
Because she's got a big heart for Umibozu, specifically.
She has hard eyes for Umibozu. She's in love with the Umibozu.
She's in Lumi with the Umi? I
She's
don't know.
in Lumi with the Umi? What?
I don't know. I
What?
really tried to make something happen, and then I couldn't do it. I could not stick
You heard
the
it here
landing.
first, folks. She's in Lumi with the Umi, so let's get right into it.
We wasted a lot of time.
We do it anyway. So we start off at the beginning of the episode with Kaori walking around Shinjuku complaining about how broke they are. Because again, for whatever reason here in the story, City Hunter is not getting a lot of clients.
Do they just not often get clients, or does Ryo have a big spending problem?
Well, see, not seemingly right now, because normally when he does have a spending problem, Kaori's the first one to bring it up. But here, it's just that they're not getting any clients, and it doesn't appear that Ryo's spending any extra money because, again in this episode, there's no Mini.
Yeah, how long has it been since we've seen that damn car?
I think in
Weeks.
story, oh yeah, it's been weeks, but like, I think it's going on the better part of like 2 months now.
2 months, huh?
So I am making it my headcanon that the reason they don't have any extra money right now, not just because they're not getting enough clients, is that they're having to save up money to get Ryo a replacement Mini.
Doesn't this man just have replacement minis?
Maybe he only had so many.
Maybe. Mass transit isn't that expensive, though. He can just train around.
That's probably what they're having to do in some cases.
Anyway, Ryo certainly isn't helping right now because he's out in public chasing women, as he usually does.
And he's hitting on one particular woman who just won't take his yes for an answer because he's like, yes, please come with me. Yes, go on a date with me. Yes, I am horny. And, you know, that's pretty par for the course here, except for the fact that Ryo, with his super hearing, which will get addressed later in this episode, happens to hear from a dark alley a gun cocking in his direction.
There's a hand, and there's a gun, and we see about that much, but Ryo hears that this is happening, and he's concerned that the woman he's chasing around is the person who's gonna get shot and injured, and so he's like, oh no, get down! Tackles her to the ground, but the person never fires. They pull their hand back, and they step away, and so everybody's just like, what is this guy doing? Because
Look at this huge pervert.
Nobody hears a bullet. Nobody hears a gunshot,
because
so...
one never happens, so all you see is Ryo tackling a woman.
Which, you know, yeah, it's a bad look. It's a bad look.
It's especially bad when Kaori's nearby with an ICBM hammer.
What does ICBM stand for?
Intercontinental Ballistic Missile.
And we're pretty sure that that's what this means now?
I'm 100% sure that that's what that means. It is a Mokkori-seeking hammer.
Okay, great. I'm glad she's got one of those in her alternate universe closet full of hammers.
And so Ryo's having to explain to Cowdy, no, you don't understand. I wasn't just being a perv. I heard a gun cock in my direction.
And Kaori's having to yell at him, nobody could hear that. And I'm sitting here going, what do you mean nobody could hear that? Do you know how many times he's tackled you even to the ground because he heard somebody just pulling out a gun from their jacket?
Like, at this point, he's done it enough times around you. You've seen him do it. Like, you know he's your partner, right? You know he's got one superpower, maybe two in this episode. But for right now, the one baseline superpower is his super hearing when it comes to guns and other weapons. And you don't believe him.
By the way, it's gonna happen again!
Because the person who pulled the gun out before, at first it was a revolver with a silencer on it. And, you know, they never fired it. So now whoever this is now up on a rooftop looking down over Shinjuku, and now they have a sniper rifle.
And they prepare to fire, and Ryo's like, oh no, they're back, get down!
And he tackles Cowdy to the ground, and the person does it again. They withdraw the gun, and they don't fire.
And so once again, everybody around them is like, this bitch just did this to another woman. How many women are we gonna let him do this to? Apparently as many as he wants, because nobody, like, stops Ryo from doing this.
Well, Cowdy's got something to say about it, and what she has to say about it is nutshot!
I mean, but we've had this conversation. He lets these things happen to him. He just lets Kaori get hits on him.
And the thing about it is that's kind of funny is that Cowdy's not that far out of earshot when she mutters to herself, finally he tackles me. Just wish he picked a better place, God. Like, Cowdy, would you like to speak up for the rest of the class to hear?
It just wasn't ideal conditions. I understand.
I thought it was funny that as Ryo's trying to recover from the nut shot, you look over his shoulder and there's a building with English text and it says Italian toy box.
Oh yeah, the spelling, like, they're trying to say Italian toy box, but Italian spelled Italyan. Italian.
Look, you're not going to pass that spelling test, but points for effort.
I mean, they got as close as they could to pronunciation. You know, that's the way it sounds when you say it out loud. Like, you know how you always tell children, all right, now sound it out. I don't know why we tell children that when we speak English, and English is shit for sounding things out. No, you can't sound out these words. Our letters sound different depending on where you put them. We did our best. That's what Sunrise says. We did our best.
The Sunrise did their best, yes. So that blows over, and Cowdy and Ryo make it back to their apartment. Cowdy goes in the door first, and she's immediately stopped by this giant green mountain that has somehow made its way into the living room.
It's Umibozu, and he's just invited himself inside.
Here's the thing. The door seemed to be locked, right? They come in the door.
He knows how to get into doors. I bet you he knows how to pick locks. That can't be hard for this man.
I'm just saying, because we've seen it done before, I'm surprised there wasn't an Umibozu-shaped hole in the wall.
Do you know how many times we've had to see him, like, bend down to get underneath a door frame to walk in?
Yeah.
Well, you're thinking, like, one of these days he's just gonna be like, I'm tired of having to actually fit through doors. I'm just gonna make one for myself.
Yeah, like the one time he did do that where he just walked through the wall.
I guess he did do that one time, didn't he?
Yeah. And so really there's no point to this. The reason I bring it up is I don't get why he decided to be tactful, like, ha, surprise, I'm inside your house. Because he immediately tells he specifically tells Ryo, hey, we gotta talk. And they go somewhere else. Like, there was no point, like, he could
have just met him outside.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what was the point of, like, getting ready to either scare Cowdy or Ryo? It's just wasting time.
And now they have to go across town or wherever this is.
And so now we're going to introduce to you guys listening a new location that will stay a location for the rest of the entire franchise. Because normally we're always going to Cowdy and Ryo's apartment. Well, now we're introducing you guys to Cafe Cat's Eye.
I can't tell you how important this is. Like, you're gonna think, oh, here we are at this place that once again is just gonna be a one-off. No, it stays forever. And then all the characters do things that are involved at this place. People start working here. People are always here drinking coffee.
This place gets shot up multiple times.
Also, it's named after Cat's Eye, which is the name of Tsukasa Hojo's previous manga that also had an anime with the Cat's Eye girls who worked at the Cafe Cat's Eye. As far as we are aware of, too.
It's the same cafe, right?
It's the same cafe. cafe, because there's some piece of media, it might have been that previous movie, where they're like, yeah, we were just holding this place down while the previous owners of the place had to go off and do stuff. Because Cat's Eye comes back in Shinjuku Private Eyes, like, hey, thanks for holding down our cafe for us. It's the Cat's Eye Cafe. They're running this bigger universe's cafe in this show. It belongs to these other characters in a totally different show. Anyway, that's pretty cool.
So as they're walking in the door, Ryo's trying to figure out, okay, so what is it that you brought me over here to discuss with me? And as he's stepping through the door, Ryo sees behind the counter this beautiful raven-haired woman working there. And this, we'll go ahead and introduce now, this is Miki. And so at first, Ryo only sees her beauty, immediately propels himself over to the counter. He's like, hey, how old are you? Are you single? Want to go out?
Which is very upsetting to Umibozu. He drags Ryo away from her very quickly and sets him down to have a talk at a booth by the window.
And so he, Kaori, and Umibozu are all sitting there getting ready to discuss, okay, so what is it you called us here for that we couldn't discuss at the apartment?
So Umibozu is like, so you haven't happened to have been, like, followed around by anybody lately, have you? Why, actually, yes, I have. And Kaori's realizing, oh shit, maybe Ryo wasn't lying when he was saying that he could tell somebody was maybe trying to point a gun at him? I don't know. So Umibozu elaborates.
He starts his elaboration by saying, sorry, that's kind of my bad. I might be the reason. No, I am the reason why this is happening. And he's beating around the bush so hard about this.
Because his explanation is, well, there was somebody who was, a warrior that I used to fight alongside.
An old comrade. And they tracked me all the way here to Japan, and then they found me.
And I sort of made them a promise, and it's one I didn't really want to keep, but, so they want me to fulfill this promise, but I decided to put them up to, kind of a dare. Like, okay, I'll fulfill the promise if you can defeat Ryo. And Ryo is just like, what have you done, man? This person's been out here trying to kill me. What are you so scared of? Like, look at you, you're shaking in your boots, dude. This isn't like you.
And he's trying to get the words out. They want to do a marriage with me. And it's like, what? Somebody wants to marry you?
So,
you? In a relationship? You?
So the assumption is that this is a woman? Oh no, what kind of a woman is this? And Ryo's big old sexist brain kind of conjures up this caricature of this really masculine commando woman.
I thought it was just him imagining Umibozu in, drag.
I mean, it's a very similar looking built person, sure.
So as Ryo's there trying to figure out just who this might be, again, his super hearing goes off, and he realizes there's a gun trained on him from behind, and in a split second, he throws the water glass that he's got at the table in front of him behind him to cover up the muzzle of the gun that's pointed at him. He, gymnastic flips through the air beautifully.
Olympic gymnast backflip out of the booth that he's sitting in and behind the person who's pointing the gun at him from behind.
And draws his gun on them, only to find that it's Miki who's pointing the gun at him.
Oh, well, that is definitely not the person I pictured in my head. Yeah, it's a very different looking lady.
And so it's revealed that the person that Umibozu is trying to get away from not marrying, or no, get away from marrying, that's what I meant, is Miki. Miki is this old comrade that has come to Japan to seek his hand in marriage.
And now Ryo's like, wait a minute, why are you running from her? What's wrong with her?
And while Ryo's asking this, Umibozu's telling Miki, see, I set up 2 circumstances where you could beat Ryo, and you didn't do it either time. You failed. If you thought you were gonna marry me, marriage means we're partners. Partners gotta be as good as me. You're not good as me. We're not getting married.
And Miki's like, oh no, I can do this. You only gave me 2 chances. Give me 10 days. No, a week. Give me a week. I can do this.
And Ryo's over here like, hold up. You mean you want her to kill me? My life is on the line here?
Oh, no. It's nothing that bad. Her gun's full of paint bullets. Also, there's only 10 of them. If she can't do it in these 10 shots, then it's all over.
So the idea here is that Umibozu has agreed to give Miki 7 days to get 1 shot on Ryo. If it works, she gets to marry him. If it doesn't work, well, that's what Ryo's got to work out right now. He's like, okay, wait a minute. If you guys are going to do this and I'm the game, then there's got to be something in it for me.
I at least get to have 1 boner time with her.
1 pee-pee touch. And Umibozu's like, hell no, you're not.
Umibozu is very upset because, spoilers, he actually has feelings for Miki and he's so shy about it. He does not know what to do with himself. He's so beside himself. He has no idea what to do.
Super shy. And
you don't need to do K-pop, right? It's okay.
It's fine. And of all things, Miki's the person that says, hold up, he's got a point. Because if he's going to be involved with this, and he could very well get hurt, I at least owe him the one pee-pee touch that he's asking for. And Ryo's like, yes!
But both Umibozu and Kaori are like, excuse me?
We both have a problem with this, and we're not able to articulate why we have a problem with this. We'll just let you figure it out on your own while we look at you all angry. Miki's like, all right, we can do this. I will agree to his conditions. I'll agree to your conditions, and I'm going to do it for love. Like, she's saying straight out the gate, she loves Umibozu.
Yeah.
In so many words.
I mean, she wouldn't have chased him all the way to another country if she didn't have feelings for him, I guess.
Do we know what country she came from?
You know, the one where the warfare was happening.
Oh, the one with the princess.
Yeah.
That one.
You know, it's on the map.
Oh, here's the map right here. Point here on the map which country she's from. That one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's too hard in audio format. We're never going to get the point across. I'm sorry.
If you guys can't tell, she's pointing here.
Right here.
Yeah, just take our word for it. Ba-da-ba. Anyway, so the next day rolls around, and Ryo, because he's not a pussy, he decides, look, I know that you guys are trying to shoot at me, or she's specifically trying to shoot at me, but that doesn't make me a coward. I'm just going to show back up to the cafe like normal. Because now that I know that it's here, and there's a beautiful woman working the counter, I would come here anyway.
Yeah, he's still gonna try and put his old classic Ryo moves on her. And actually, it turns out other people are kinda sorta thinking the same thing. They're like, oh my god, some new hot babe works down at Cat's Eye. Let's go in there and go say hello.
Yeah, so it's these two dudes who are saying that. One dude tries to go in the door just as Miki's pulling her gun, because Ryo's like taunting her, like, hey, so I'm right here in front of you. You gonna shoot me?
And she decides to try it, and she shoots, but it's as these guys are coming in the front door. And Ryo's too fast. He dodges, he ducks his head out of the way, and the paint bullet ends up hitting one of the potential customers right in the face. And they're like, man, fuck this place, and they leave.
That was the worst time to try and come into the store.
I mean, they couldn't have known that.
And having missed that shot, Ryo's like, haha, now you only got 9 shots left, better be careful.
But also is like, man, I don't even know what you see in that chrome dome Umibozu. And she's just pissed because she does not like the idea of this person that she's apparently in love with getting mocked, like right in front of her, and it's really upsetting her.
Like when Ryo commented on Umibozu being bald, she took that personally. And so he proceeds to keep trash talking him to her face.
And this is on purpose. This is specifically so that she will pull out her gun, which she does, and just start firing.
And she fires like 5 times and misses all 5 times. I mean, she has to, otherwise this would be a real short 2-parter.
And Kaori's in there, right? She's in there at the same time. At some point she's come in, or she's been there the whole time, or something. She shows up and is like, whoa, Miki, you gotta calm down. He's doing this to you on purpose. You've only got 4 bullets left. He's trying to just make you waste them all.
And she's telling her, look, don't worry, I got you. I know the ways of the pervert. I know what he's gonna do. I got you. Let me help you out. And so we assume they have some sort of a conversation between just the two of them, just Kaori and Miki. And so we flash forward, I guess, let's just say a couple of minutes, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe an hour at best. And Ryo's back at the counter, and Miki's trying to offer him a truce coffee. Like, hey, everything's good now. I'm not gonna shoot at you for the rest of the day. He's like, great, I just wanted a regular cup of coffee. It's fine.
But he looks up, and dangling in the sky above his head are a pair of bra and panties. Like, that's not suspicious. But they're a pair of bra and panties, and so Ryo does not care.
Because he's got a thing for underwear. And the thing about it is, it's just dangling there, and, like, how basic is his brain in this moment that it's being pulled up on a string.
Very lizard brain right now.
Yeah, it's being pulled up on a string through the rafters of the cafe, and he's like, well, I'm going up there.
I'm just gonna go up there. I know people don't belong up there in the rafters of a public cafe. I'm going up there.
And he's lucky that he's the only customer in there. Like, and mind you, he's not even thinking about, I wonder where Cowdy is right now, because he's not thinking about that. He's just thinking,
I gotta get bra and panties.
And he sees down at the end, past two planks that are crisscrossing each other there in the rafters, there's a nice little sexy poster, like, pinned to the wall. He's like, jackpot. I gotta go get that, and I gotta go get them bra and panties. And so he's wiggling his way through the rafters up until he gets to those two, crisscrossing planks.
And then you see an animation of, like...
a car jack.
Yeah, a car jack. A car jack, which is to insinuate something very specific, which is the action of Ryo getting a boner. Looking at this poster and knowing he's within very close proximity to a pair of bra and panties, but he's gotten this boner at a very inopportune time because it has now wedged him, much like a car jack, in between these two planks up next to the roof.
And he has been rendered immobile by his own boner.
He's stuck in the roof with his penis, wedging him in there.
And the more he tries to fight it, the worse it gets.
So he's stuck there. He's stuck real hard. But now, Kaori is back down on the ground and is with Miki, and she's like, this worked out perfectly.
Folks, we got him.
He's stuck there. All you gotta do is shoot him in the ass right now. Right now. Hurry up and do it. What are you waiting for? Why is this taking so long?
Yeah, like, I don't
shoot this man. He's stuck there.
Other than the fact that this has to be a two-parter, Miki took way too damn long to take the shot. Like, all she had to do was take the shot, just... and that would have been it.
Yeah.
And so Ryo, sensing, again, that a gun is trained on him, but also knowing this is a very specific gun and a very specific person holding the gun, he realizes he can't wriggle free. And so he's got to figure out a way to get out of this.
And so his big master plan is, well, if I'm stuck here, the only way out is through. So I'm going to use full Mokkori power, as in... he's going to just let himself get an even bigger, harder boner.
A master boner, if you will. And it is such so that the Jack animation shows up on screen again, fully extending. And what happens next? Ryo manages, through sheer force of will and horniness, to get his boner to break the planks of wood holding up the roof and free himself.
Specifically the plank of wood directly underneath him. His boner just punches right on through this pillar and collapses like half the ceiling.
Like a strongman competition, just breaking the damn board. And this is like a heavy load-bearing piece of wood here.
So, just to be clear, we do not actually see his physical boner like a big parachute ballooning out of his pants or anything. Okay, they did not draw that. They did not animate that.
It's all done through insinuation.
But realize, however, had this been the manga, I can't rightly recall what it looks like in the manga. I do remember them re-depicting it in Kyokara City Hunter, because this is actually the part of the story where Kyokara City Hunter starts.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, this arc in this isekai. God, it's so weird that an isekai of City Hunter exists. You know, the woman, she's like in her 30s, and all she reads is City Hunter. She's not married. She gets hit by a train. She dies. She's reborn into the City Hunter manga right here at this plot point as Miki is trying to shoot Ryo so that she can marry Umibozu. And she's like, oh, I'm here. I know what happens next. And I just do not recall this specific thing happening, but boners in both the original City Hunter manga and Kyokara City Hunter are depicted constantly. In the manga, you always see boners. All the time. You see them everywhere. And as I've kind of talked about before, Sunrise had to make a compromise, right? When you're talking about animation that has to be put on TV, and it's not like an adult nighttime time slot. Like, yeah, it's late, but it's not like, haha, only raunchy people are up this late.
No, this is like 7:30.
Yeah, so it's still kind of like prime-timey, so we can't draw boners, man. So we have to draw a car jack and insinuate that there is a boner happening.
Boners that ruin rafters is what we're saying
And And now Miki is infuriated, and she's just like, what am I supposed to do? You've trashed the cat's eye. What am I gonna do now? And Ryo's like, here, let me make it up to you. You can stay at my place for the next week. And Miki's just like, how does that make it up to me?
And Cowdy chimes in, no, don't do that. He wants you closer. Ryo's like, no, this actually works in your favor. If you're closer to me, you have a better chance of shooting me.
Miki's like, okay, that's it. Now they're all under one roof so that these shenanigans can happen.
So action now moves back over to Cowdy and Ryo's apartment, and they've gone ahead and put Miki up in one of the spare rooms, and Ryo notices that Cowdy's being quite nonchalant about all this, like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess now it's fine, she can go ahead and stay over. But Ryo was ready for this, and he's like, hey, Cowdy, did you call Umibozu and tell him that Miki was staying with us this week?
So she denies it.
And he's like, oh, okay, all right, so Umibozu wasn't notified, okay, all right. I'm gonna open this door here and let's see what's on the other side. And Ryo was ready. He already had either purchased or picked up a stray, really cute little orange cat, and it is currently pinning Umibozu against the wall. Really, he's like up on a couch trying to dodge this cat.
So once again, cats seem to really actually like Umibozu kind of a lot. They just want to be near him.
I developed this headcanon that he just must smell amazing to cats.
I don't know, cats can tell when you're a good person. That's the thing. Cats can tell when you are safe, because I don't think Umibozu would hurt a cat, specifically because he doesn't even want to touch them. He's kind of doing this kicking motion at the cat, but he's not going in so far that he's even remotely anywhere within kicking distance, alright? He's just trying to do an action that he thinks might spook the cat away. But this cat wants to be with him, and now I'm sitting here wondering what they do with the cat afterwards.
He probably gave it to some kid that tried to ask him for help for $5.
Oh my god!
Look, let's just assume he housed the cat afterward.
He rehomed this cat.
He rehomed it, yeah.
Okay.
We're just gonna headcanon that. There's a lot of headcanoning this week.
Okay.
So Ryo's like, ha! I knew you'd be here, and you wouldn't be here unless you were concerned about her, and you wouldn't be this concerned about her, Umibozu, unless you love her. Do you love her, Umibozu?
No!
he even takes it, Umibozu even takes it a step further. No, I don't. I don't even like women.
What is just the dumbest response? So, I understand Ryo's response. Oh, so then you like men. I mean, that's the next logical progression of that statement, right? I think he's actually leading a pretty good question. So Ryo comes up and
hugs up on Umibozu and starts making kissy faces at him.
Playing gay chicken, and he's winning, okay? Because I'm telling you, Ryo doesn't even know he is bi yet, but he is. I'm telling you.
But the thing about it is, it's not hard to win gay chicken with Umibozu because he immediately forfeits.
But also, I really think Ryo would dare get dangerously close to actually having sex with Umibozu just to prove that he's the winner of gay chicken.
I'm not going to take that bit because I think I would lose.
And Ryo would win. That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah, Ryo would be the winner. And so, Ryo gets body slammed by Umibozu into the wall for even insinuating that because Umibozu knows who he is. He just doesn't want to talk about it.
But also, are we certain that wasn't a hate crime?
Oh, why you gotta do this to me while we're on air? I don't know. I don't think it can. Well, no, if Ryo doesn't self-identify, then it's not a hate crime.
Okay, but still, was it homophobia?
Probably.
Okay, just making sure we got this covered. I mean, we could lean in the direction of it's just him being mad that he's embarrassed.
Also, he did invade his personal space.
That is fair. He did not consent to being touched.
Yeah, Ryo did not respect consent, like he normally doesn't, and he thusly got body slammed.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, that's a fair defense.
And so Umibozu storms out of there from this line of questioning and from Ryo touching him, and he's upset. But he's more upset at the insinuation that he has feelings for Miki, so much so that he's grumbling to himself about it out on the street, and he punches a light pole and leaves a divot in it.
And there's this couple that's standing not too far behind him, oh my god, you see this guy just hit this pole? And the lamp, the lantern, the bulb up there at the top of the pole falls down and hits this poor dude in the head. Just this innocent bystander got injured because Umibozu couldn't take being embarrassed by the fact that he actually loves a woman.
But meanwhile, Meanwhile, back inside the apartment, Kaori's getting mad at Ryo, chastising him. Hey, look, can you, not try to steal his girlfriend from him?
Ryo's like, girlfriend? He just very plainly said this isn't his girlfriend. And Kaori has to continue to defend. No, just look at the man. He's denying it, but he loves Miki. He's just head over heels for her. He's just embarrassed. The poor widow embarrassed Umibozu.
And Ryo's like, well, I guess there's gotta be some kind of an explanation. There must be some story we don't know, but we don't know, so I'm not gonna worry about it. Also, don't get it twisted, Kaori. We're not friends, alright? We consider each other deadly enemies, alright? That's what we are to each other. This is, of course, Ryo lying to himself that they are not, in fact, friends.
Why are all these dudes so embarrassed about how they feel about anybody?
Toxic masculinity is a hell of a thing.
Well, I guess especially in the 80s.
Especially in the 80s.
Okay.
They just need therapy.
Not in the 80s.
Not in the 80s.
In Japan.
Oh, hell no. And so Ryo, I guess, just went into the bathroom like, all right, I'm gonna go take a dump or something. And Miki decides, now's my chance. And she busts open the door thinking, all right, I'm gonna get the drop on Ryo. But it's the other way around. Ryo's got the drop on her. Because he is, positioned himself like Jean-Claude Van Damme style against two walls. And he's up closer to the ceiling and just takes her gun away from her.
You gotta do better than that.
Yeah, you gotta catch me when I'm more vulnerable. Like when I'm asleep or when I'm taking a bath. Here, have your gun back.
Also, I'm gonna go take a bath. And so there he is, just taking a bath, and is very vulnerable, which he's totally set up. Miki knows he's totally set this up. Or does she? I don't know. Maybe she's really naive about this, and she's like...
Well, is it a matter of naivety, or is it just that she's that focused on making sure she gets to marry Umibozu?
She just really wants this really bad, and she's like, okay, I've got my gun now, and he's in the bath. He's not going to be able to go anywhere. I'm just going to walk on in there and shoot him. And sure enough, she opens the door, and he's like, oh, what are you doing in here? You should just take off all your clothes if you want to get in the bath. And she's like, not today, Zerg.
And she caps him once, but nothing happens. Nothing comes out of the gun.
Because they're blanks! Because, of course, Ryo very quickly replaced all of her paint bullets with blanks.
She never noticed, and I caught this in the previous scene, when she got into the toilet area where she thought Ryo was, and Ryo took the gun, he had a second gun there, and that's the one he gave back, which, like you said, all the gun bullets have been replaced with blanks, and he tells her, okay, so you want your gun back, or at least your bullets back, they're in my other pants, and they're in the other room. You'd have to leave to go get them, but oops, I have a little remote control here
that locks the door. Oh no, the door is locked. Oh no. So what this remote does is it'll unlock that door, but oh no, what have I done? I just dropped it in the tub. Looks like you're gonna have to come in here and grab the remote. But then again, the remote might already be dead because it got soaked in water, so who knows?
I guess we're just gonna have to have sex. He's being really creepy right now.
Sure.
We're playing this, we're saying this comedically because that's how they're presenting it, but he is being an incredible creep right now. But the thing about it is he's wearing this towel right now as he comes out of the bath, thank God, because they can't actually draw a penis. And it just says two words in English.
A towel. He's wrapped this towel around his waist.
And the towel just says, do sports.
Which I feel like we've either seen it in another episode of the anime, or maybe it was in the manga somewhere. I'm not sure whether or not this is the first time we're mentioning do sports.
Or we're just remembering it from the last time we watched the whole series.
It could be.
I'm just saying I would like a towel that says do sports. And he's almost on top of Miki, doing the creepy little wiggly finger thing that he does.
Yeah.
And thankfully, at the last second before he can do anything, Kaori comes in clutch with the 1,000,000-ton hammer and gets him straight through the window of the bathroom door.
Yeah, he deserved 1,000,000 tons.
For this, yeah, this is really this is not okay. If this was a job, you'd be reported to HR. This is terrible behavior.
I'm kind of wondering if he does this knowing somebody is going to stop him.
Semi-so. I think. Because, like we've discussed before, he is perfectly aware in most cases of what he's doing. I think what it is that he pushes the envelope a lot, and that he tries to see how much he can get away with, because he can stop himself. He just more often than not chooses not to.
We also know he can dodge Kaori's hammer if he wants to.
It just hasn't been addressed yet in the show.
Right. So I feel like part of him is just like, I'm gonna do this! Kaori, you better come stop me! Kaori!
Well, yeah, like it's kind of a game to him.
Yeah.
So now after all this has happened, Ryo has been sequestered to his room by Kaori saying, all right, I'm keeping you in here. I'm gonna booby trap the whole ass hall. Everything that Umibozu taught me, oh yeah, that's right. I'm gonna use it all on your ass tonight. You are not going anywhere.
Ryo's like, all right, go ahead and try.
But Ryo tells her back, okay, you can go ahead and set the traps. Problem is, I'm not the one who's going to be trying to sneak out. Remember, Miki's trying to get to me. So if you set up those traps, they're going to be set off by her and she'll get hurt. You really want to do that? And so she's got, second thoughts about this.
But she still mostly follows through. So if she does set up a bunch of traps of some variety, there's wires, there's grenades, and there's all kinds of things just strung about the entire hall.
Turns out we were right compared to last episode where we mentioned that Ryo doesn't have the long bowling pin grenades. He does keep just primarily pineapple grenades.
Right. Miki is trying to get through this hall, and she sees all of these traps, and her thought is that Ryo has set up all of these traps to prevent her from getting to him. She doesn't know Kaori's the one doing this.
And so she deduces, well, there's all these tripwires. He wouldn't be able to get through to get to me if he was going to hit on me, and I can't really get through to him, which means it's a stalemate, which means I can just go to sleep.
Great, I'm safe. I don't need to shoot him right now, and he's not going to try to assault me. I was real concerned about that earlier, that he would try and assault me again, but it's fine. I'm just going to go to sleep. Meanwhile, we see Kaori kind of standing outside of her room, making sure she goes to sleep, and she's like, well, good thing she just went to sleep, because I kind of took all of the explodey bits out of most of these grenades, which was really hard, so thank God.
And see, Ryo hasn't had to step outside because he's under the assumption that Miki is in fact going to come to him, so he's just sitting up in bed waiting for her to arrive. And he's just sitting there all riled up like, all right, any second now, I'm gonna get some Miki. Any second now. And he does that all night. And he's like sleep deprived by daybreak. She never showed up. What the hell? I've been waiting all night. I'm gonna go out there and check. See what happened.
So he goes out there and he trips one of these wires that's tied to a grenade.
And he's like, oh shit!
Oh, my bad, says Kaori. I guess I left one of the grenades intact. Oh no.
And then Miki's there on the other side of the hall like, I wonder why he would fall for his own trap.
Because she's still dumb. She doesn't know.
And that's actually where part 1 ends.
Not at a very, climactic moment or anything. Just situational. This is just where we need to stop right now. We ran out of time.
That's literally how the episode feels. It's like, it's not a very satisfying ending. It's not a cliffhanger. It's just, we stopped mid-action.
And then there will be more next week, is really, just expect more of this same story to keep happening.
Yeah, there's going to be more shooting. Turns out Ryo and Umibozu will in fact duel next week.
Yeah, and we're going to get that story of why is it that Miki wants to be with Umibozu so bad, and why does Umibozu seemingly not want this?
Even though it seems like he does, but he doesn't want to admit it.
Anyway, it's a whole thing, and some of it is kind of weird, but some of it is kind of nice, but some of it is kind of weird.
It's some plot points I've seen done in other movies, and even then, I'm not really that's not my favorite thing when they do it in other movies.
We'll have to elaborate on that in the next one. If you're lucky, maybe you'll be able to pair both of these episodes together very quickly in short order.
That is entirely dependent on how quickly I get this out.
Just how productive we're feeling for the rest of this week.
We'll work on it.
Yeah. So come back next time when we cover the 40th episode of City Hunter 2, Umi, what a sexy guy. Beautiful sweeper Miki gets close, part 2.
And if you want to catch us outside this podcast, you can always find us both over on most social media. I'm at JoshKnightTheFirst.
And I'm at MarzGurl. Thank you all so much for listening to our 90th episode of MokkoriPlay. And if you don't come back next episode, somebody's gonna steal Josh's girl.
Well, better that than my credit card information.
Hey.
What? Oh, right. The marriage, right. My bad.